And welcome back to another hydroponics video. Look at how crazy these tomato plants have grown. And if you saw my last video, it wasn't even a week ago and they were like half the size. Yeah, okay, if you want to grow plants fast, hydroponics is the way to go. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, I am just stuffing around with hydroponics, and if we go over here, aquaponics, which obviously aquaponics is fish in tubs producing waste for the plants, and hydroponics is just water with nutrients getting pumped into plants. It is that easy. And the good thing with hydroponics is you don't have to rely on fish. It is a little bit easier. Check out how crazy growth on these plants. Okay, I can't actually get over how much they've grown in a week. They were honestly about that big. And here is my sump. So that is the hydroponic solution. This is all solar powered, so it is just a solar pump sitting over there, goes in the daytime, off at night, and these are bato buckets or Dutch buckets, which just means water in the bottom. And yeah, a growing media. I've just used perlite. You can use whatever you want. You could just have a pot there. I've got a little drip system, so when it's on, the water just trickles through. That is it. It is very, very easy. This is all cheap eBay buckets. I think they're like $8 a bucket or something like that. And that's all hardware stuff. And my irrigation pipe was pretty much free because that's just old irrigation pipe. And underneath, that is the return pipe. And there is Benji. Benji, what are you doing? What are you doing? Where's your tail? Where's your tail? There's your tail. And yeah, it's just PVC pipe going back into an old filter box. So you could use a tub or whatever you want. But that is crazy. That is a lot of growth. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, we have a lot of issues with bugs. And I have said in a few of the videos that I'm going to probably put a fine mesh or something over it. I haven't done that yet. And looking at all the leaves, there's a few little tiny holes. Something's been nibbling on it. But it doesn't look like there's any mites. And if you haven't seen mite damage before, the leaves go a little bit yellow. They look like they're overwatered or underwatered, depending on where you live. And yeah, it just starts to disintegrate. Hasn't seemed to happen yet. Oh, there's a fair few little holes there, so there may be a little bug, or it might just be something innocent that's had a nibble and flown away. Wishful thinking. But yeah, bugs are the other issue because this is pretty much just outside, so it gets a fair bit of sun. You can see by them slightly turning that there's more light over there than there is straight above, but they're not really elongated or anything like that. I'm just forever checking to make sure there are no bugs. No, that's just a new unfurled leaf. Because if you have seen my aquaponics, the bugs are a nightmare. We have these little tiny butterflies that fly, lay their eggs. This one has managed to get wiped out in the last couple of days. I must have taken about 20 or 30 caterpillars off the thing. There's another one. So you get a leaf like that. Wow, that is crazy fast. In there, in that little cocoon, there. That little caterpillar there can wipe out a whole leaf overnight. Sorry, you're going for a swim. Oh, well, there was a big fish. He is way too big to eat that. So yeah, it's very, very frustrating because you do, there's another one. You do all this to make the plants okay. Oh, there is another one. These weren't here last night. That is crazy. Did you just see him drop? Look, there he is. Okay, what we're going to do with you is you are going way over here because you can't walk that far because of your tiny little legs. Get out, get out. Look at him. Can we focus? Yeah, you deal. If you don't like that plant, tough. But that is sort of the problem with all that. If you can keep on top of all the bugs, generally it's going to work. If you watched my last couple of videos of this system, the bugs did wipe out the first lot, which was that one there, and a whole lot of other ones. I have replanted them. I've actually put an active substrate underneath the pots, and they have grown absolutely crazy. So yeah, I'm still not a fan of aquaponics compared to hydroponics, but just for an update, check out all the spinach. Yeah, I don't know what that was, but that went to seed. We're in the subtropics, so yeah, this is Stingray powered bloody aquaponics, but it is what it is. Some nice lettuce. Some of these were elongated to start with, but it took them a little while to kick in, but now they're fine for harvesting. Yeah, if we want spinach, I suppose. Spinach and lettuce. Yeah, not much will grow in the heat, but it is cooling down a little bit. I think my water temperature is 25, 26 degrees. Yeah, but that is going okay. So I think what I need to really do is have a system like this on a bigger scale with full mesh around it to stop any bugs getting in there. And I have had a few problems in the past with the cage that I got, which was big enough to have like probably about 5 or so of these systems in it. Bugs still get in, so you have to continuously look for bugs. We're not spraying. I mean, if you're into chemicals and, well, nasty chemicals, everything's a chemical technically, but if you're into nasty chemicals, you could always add something to the water and nuke all the bugs, I suppose. But yeah, where does it stop? I mean, as long as they only eat a few leaves and not everything, it is fine. The only maintenance with this, apart from checking for bugs, is just replacing the water every 3 weeks or so. So in another week, I think this is like our 3rd week now, we're going to replace the water, and we're doing 1 gram per litre of calcium nitrite and diamond special T. And that is just added to reverse osmosis water, which is pure water. You could use rainwater, distilled water, whatever you want. And yeah, the pH is sort of aimed at about 5.5, 6 roughly. So it's in between 5.5 and 6. That is it. So as the plants grow, obviously they take up water as well as trace elements and minerals, but they take up water faster than they do trace elements and minerals, and you do get a lot of evaporation. And because of that, all your minerals will concentrate, and then that will end up kind of stuffing your plants up a little bit. We should probably do an experiment where we just don't even bother touching it, but we have done that in the little bucket system before, and that worked pretty well until the mites decided to wipe everything out. We did get a couple of batches of tomatoes, but yeah, the leaves were filthy. So yeah, hopefully this system, it looks a ton better already. That is crazy, crazy growth. So the next thing I'm going to do is put a couple of brackets on each side of the stand and run a couple of wires just so that these don't get knocked over and they can support the weight of the tomatoes, because they should be flowering in the next week or so. Happens pretty quick, and then once it flowers, boom, we'll have a whole lot of tomatoes. These are Roma tomatoes, which is not a tiny little tomato, so the weight of those are probably going to bend everything over if I don't support the plants. Obviously the plants in the next week are going to hit this, but we're just going to let them bend over and stuff. And yeah, I might thin out a few of the leaves depending on what they look like, but it's not really that necessary to do that either. We have enough nutrients for them. The stems are huge, decent size stems, and it's supporting the weight of the plants perfectly at the moment. I don't even want to touch them because all the jinxing of the other ones with mites and stuff like that, we're just letting them be happy tomato plants. Anyway, here is an update on the solar bato bucket or Dutch bucket system. Working really, really well. I do like hydroponics. It's just a lot easier than aquaponics. But if you've never done this before, give it a go. It is pretty easy to do. You can use buckets with holes drilled in them and stuff like that. Check out any of my old videos and you'll see lots and lots of different setups, but it seems to be working pretty well. Anyway, we'll see you in the next video.